Today we're going to be working on using the area model in order to solve a multiple step word problem. So when I say the area model, what I'm talking about is a model that's going to help us find the answer to a multiplication problem. It's actually a strategy that uses expanded form so that the numbers that we're working to multiply are a lot easier to work with. So my first step, as always, we see that we have a word problem. So my first thing is going to be to actually read that word problem. So it tells us tickets to a baseball game are $20 for an adult and $15 for a student. A school buys tickets for 45 adults and 600 students. How much money will the school spend for the tickets? So I'm going to go back and I'm going to reread. And in my head, as I'm rereading, I'm thinking, okay, I know that I have a lot of numbers in here. I also know that my answer is going to have to increase or get bigger. So that tells me that I'm most likely going to have to multiply, especially since it has something to do with amount of money per a group of people. So I'm looking and I know that it's $20 for an adult. I know that it's $15 for a student. I know that I have 45 adults. And I know that I have 600 students. And then my question is, how much money will the school spend for the tickets? So I'm looking at the total amount of money that is going to be spent for these tickets. So I see that I have two different groups. My first one is my adults. And I know that I have $20 per adult ticket and I have 45 adults. So I'm going to work with that group first in order to figure out how much money the school would spend on tickets for those 45 adults. So as we said earlier, we are going to be working in expanded form. So expanded form, we always start off with a rectangle, and then we're actually going to write both of our numbers from the word problem on the top and along the side here. So I'm going to take the amount of money for an adult, which is 20, and I'm going to write that out in my expanded form. So I'm going to have 20 plus 0, and I see that I have a number of my tens and I have a number of my ones. So I'm going to split this rectangle into two pieces. The smaller one is going to represent my 1. The larger piece is going to represent my tens. And that just kind of helps me visually remember that my tens are the bigger amount. So next up, I have my 45. So on this side, I'm going to write out 40 plus 5. And again, I'm going to split it into two pieces, one to represent the tens and one to represent the ones. So now what I do is I actually find the area of each of these rectangles. So I know 40 times 20, 4 times 2 is 8. And then I would have my 2 zeros at the end. Now my next one, 40 times 0 is going to give me the area of this. And I know any number times 0 is 0. Next, I go to my bottom rectangle, and I have 20 times 5, which is 100, and then 5 times 0 is 0. So now that I have the area of each of my 4 pieces, what I do to get the total product or the total answer to 20 times 45 is I'm going to add those numbers together. So I'm going to have 800 plus 100, and I know that that equals 900. And I'm remembering that I'm talking about money, so I'm going to add the dollar sign on there. And then I'm going to write out adults because I want to remind myself that I'm talking about adults. And now I'm going to go on to my student tickets. So when I'm thinking about my student tickets, I know that it's $15 for a student, and I'm remembering that there are 600 students. So I'm going to do the same area model just with 600 times 15. So I'm going to start off with my students. That in expanded form is going to be 10 plus 5. I'll draw out my rectangle. rectangular shape. There we go. Split that so that we have our tens and our ones. And now you'll see that I have 600. And I'm thinking in my head, okay, 600 is a triple digit number. So I know that I'm going to have to split this into 3 parts. So I'm going to have 600 plus 0 plus 0. Now those last ones are going to be pretty easy since they're 0. So I'll start off with 600 times 10. I know 6 times 1 is 6. So 600 times 10 is going to be 6,000. Then I have 600 times 5. I know that 6 times 5 is 30. And then I'm going to have my 2 zeros right there. So 3,000, making sure that I get that comma in there. 10 times 0 is 0. 0 times 5 is 0. 0 times 10 is 0. And 0 times 5 is 0. So I'm going to have 6,000. Oops, that's supposed to be 0. 6,000, I was thinking ahead a little bit there, plus 3,000. And I know that that is going to give me 9,000. And I'm remembering again that that is in dollars. So my last step, since I'm looking for how much money in all the school is going to spend for the tickets, I'm going to have to add that 9,000 that's represented by my students to my 900. So I'll come over and I'll have 9,000 plus 900. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 9 is 9. And 9 plus nothing is 9. So I'm going to have $9,900. Now, another thing that we always want to do is we want to make sure that we put our response into a sentence. So my sentence would say something along the lines of, the school spent $9,900 for the tickets. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope this helps.